For some people, dogs are just a furry friend, but for others, they are a life-changing service animal. Hi, my name is Shivani. I am 12 years old and I belong to the Acton Craft 4-H Club. This is my second year in 4-H and my second visual presentation. Today I'm going to talk to you about these taskmasters. There are many myths when it comes to service dogs. One of them is that they have to be professionally trained. This is not true. They can be trained by anyone. These dogs have to be able to pass the Canine Good Citizenship test. They don't actually have to pass the test, they just have to be able to pass the test. Some service dogs who are organization trained will start with puppies. These puppies will wear something called a puppy cape. The puppy cape gets the dog used to having clothing on their withers, because once they become a full-fledged service dog, they will get a special harness. So it might seem like all service dogs have to wear a vest. This is not true. While some people expect guide dogs or mobility assistance dogs to wear them, they do not have to because the ADA does not require it, nor do they have to have any special registration. In fact, there is no national registration for service dogs. This is actually a service dog, but you did not know that because there's no visual evidence. Ruff, 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 ruff. What was that I just heard? A service dog barked? I, like many other people, thought that service dogs would not and could not bark. This is not true because some service dogs are actually specifically trained to bark if their owner is in danger. A lot of people think that service dogs and emotional support dogs are the same, but they have different rights. Emotional support dogs are governed by the FAA and the Fair Housing Act. The FAA allows them to fly on planes. The Fair Housing Act allows them to go into no-pet housing. Emotional support dogs, along with service dogs, are not considered pets. So if there is a pet fee, it must be waived. Service dogs can do everything an emotional support dog can do, and more. To tell the difference, emotional support dogs are not specifically trained to do anything, because they only provide emotional support, while service dogs are specifically trained to mitigate a disability. A lot of people expect service dogs to be big and strong. This is not true. Some service dogs do have to be big and strong to support their handler. As you can see from this book, there are two service dogs. One is big and one is small, but they are both service dogs. This is not a service animal. This is a cat. Cats cannot be service animals. They do not meet the ADA requirements. Cats' genes are coded for them to be solitary and independent hunters, and service animals must get along well with their handlers. There are many kinds of service dogs. One of them is a guide dog. Guide dogs lead visually impaired and blind people. According to the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, they have been around for centuries. Guide dogs date back to the Roman times. Many pieces of laws and legislation are written with a large emphasis on guide dogs. Guide dogs fall under the category of mobility assistance dogs. Mobility assistance dogs lead people who have trouble moving around. They help a wide range of people with a wide range of disabilities. This girl is disabled. Her mobility assistance dogs can pull her in the wheelchair. She can also stand up and hold the harness on her dog's vest. For children on the autistic spectrum, service dogs are a great idea. Service dogs for autistic kids give them a better quality of life, especially those who have trouble in social situations. They act as an icebreaker for other children. Psychiatric service dogs are also very confused with emotional support dogs. But psychiatric service dogs are specifically trained to do something, like break a cycle of PTSD. And PTSD does not stand for pet the service dog. Medical alert dogs serve a wide range of purposes. They help people who have disabilities that cannot be seen. For example, if someone is about to have a seizure, their medical alert dog can see that they are about to have a seizure. They also can detect heart rate changes and blood sugar levels, and many more. There are many things you should not do when you see a service dog. People should not have their pet distract the service dog in any way. If the service dog's job is to see if their handler is about to have a seizure, they could miss the subtle signs. They should also make sure they're not distracting the dog and definitely not disturbing it. There are many things the owner should do. The owner should clean up after their dog, just as any good dog owner should. They should also make sure their dog isn't climbing on furniture if they're not allowed to, especially just because their dog is a service dog. There are two questions a shop owner can ask someone regarding their service dog. The first one asks what tasks they do, and the second one asks if the dog is a service dog. They cannot ask anything else. Service dogs who have no registration or don't wear a vest are more likely to be inquired than service dogs with a vest, because not all disabilities are visible. Today I have debunked myths for you, talked about the types of service dogs and the kinds of etiquette. This concludes my visual presentation. Are there any questions?
Do you have experience with service dogs?
The question was, do I have experience with service dogs? Yes, I have met a service dog, but I have never trained a service dog.
So you mentioned that cats are not allowed to be service animals. Is there any other animal out there besides dogs that are legally allowed to be service animals that you're aware of?
Yes. The question was, are there any service animals that are allowed to be service animals that aren't dogs? Yes. Miniature horses are allowed to be service animals.
Olivia?
Follow-up question. Have you ever met a service animal that was not a dog?
The question was, have you ever met a service animal that was not a dog? No, I have not.
Ishan?
I've heard of therapy dogs. Is there a difference between a therapy dog and a service dog?
The question was, is there a difference between service dogs and therapy dogs? Yes, there is a big difference. The difference is therapy dogs are used for therapy sessions. They're quite similar to emotional support dogs.
I was wondering, how does an owner balance the sort of work life and more normal dog life aspects? In a sense that I assume the dog still needs to do basic dog activities such as relax, play, etc.
The question was, how does a handler balance work life and dog life? I don't think I'm the person you should be asking, because I have never had a service dog before, and I would not know.
Are the qualifications for the miniature ponies or horses you're talking about, is it the same qualifications for them to be a service animal than for dogs?
The question was, are the requirements for to be a service animal for horses are the same as having a service for dogs? I would believe so, because the Americans with Disabilities Act registers what can be a service animal and what cannot, and I believe all the requirements are the same.
What is the most common